Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything you need to know before starting your journey into this field of architecture. Your education aspect, your first project and your project experience. What are the different phases of the project? What kind of experiences and what kind of coordination you need to do into your first years of architecture. Then I will be talking about what are the two career choices you have after you complete your licensing and your architecture examinations. Finally, we will end this video with talking about the most important aspect of architecture or any profession per se is money. How much you can earn, what is the average, and what is the best career choice for you if you want to earn more money. So guys, this video is a general reflection of my 10 years of architecture experience. My name is Saransh Singh. I'm an architect and I have been practicing architecture from past 7-8 years. Right now I'm working as a BIM professional here in Canada. This video will be a very helpful video for anyone who is planning to get into architecture or planning to pursue their profession as an architect. Let's talk about the first point, the education part of architecture. Architecture education happens for around 4 years. This is not a simple course. You will need to put your mind and soul into this architecture education part. But if someone asked me that do you regret your educational time that you spent in your college, I would say no. Architecture education is really fun. You are solving real life problems. You are solving problems that do not exist yet. You are catering to a lot of different social aspects of life. You understand how design plays a critical role in development of the society and the civilization overall. Architecture education is very fun if you are interested in it. It demands a lot of time, a lot of dedication. You will be working whole nights. You will be working for months without break. Architecture education is tough, but it is really fun. If you ask any architect, he will say that my time that I spent in college was one of the best times. Next part is architecture education expense. Yes, architecture education is expensive. It demands a lot of money. It demands a lot of care into this education because you will be producing sheets. You will be doing multiple printing jobs and printing those sheets are expensive. You will be making a lot of models. You will be doing a lot of case studies. For case studies, you will need to access certain structure. You will need to travel to different places. You will need to do all of this on your own expense. Or even if college is taking you for those case studies, you will need to pay the college for that. So architecture education is expensive. Now coming on to the next part, which is your project experience or your first job experience. So a lot of people get confused about this part because in colleges, in most of the colleges and universities, we are not taught about what happens after architecture, what kind of work you will be getting. So first thing is, after completing your architecture, you won't be getting design work. You won't be getting an entire building design or an entire project design. You will be eligible to work as an intern architect if you are in North American region, Australia or UK. You will be working as an intern architect, and as an intern architect you will be reporting directly to a project architect. And what your responsibility in the initial days after completing your architecture is, you will be working on revisions, you will be working on working drawings, you will be working on schematic drawings that an architect would be giving you. Mostly it's sketches, mostly it's like a traced plan over an older plan. They give you all these things, they give you the basic dimensions, data and all of these things, and you have to produce them as a model if you're working in 3D space. So this is your core responsibility in the beginning. You will be doing a lot of detailing, you will be doing a lot of sheet drafting. So this will be one of the aspects that you will be entering into in the first year of your professional service. Another fact that a lot of people ignore is that you won't be doing a lot of different things every month. Most probably, you will be working on a certain plan or a certain sector, depending on the firm that you have joined. If the project is huge, there might be situations where you will be working on a certain area for more than a year. Yes, you heard me right. This makes things very monotonous. This makes things very frustrating at times because you feel stuck. Because these things are something that you were not prepared of, or your colleges didn't teach you about it. So this is another aspect that I really wanted to share with you, because you shouldn't have any false expectations. You should know this is what you will be working on in the beginning years of your life. Then another part that comes into play is coordination. A lot of time what happens is, as an intern architect, you will have to coordinate with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, plumbings, and all of these different sectors, because in majority of firms and bigger projects, they are different entities, and you will have to convey your designs to them so that they can adjust their plumbing, electrical, and all of their drawings based on your recommendations. Sometimes we have to do the same thing based on their recommendation because of the structural issues, because of the bylaws. All of these things play a very important role. So this is your first year of developing as an architect. Now let's talk about the phases, different phases of a project. So first phase is pre-design phase. Pre-design phase, you as an intern architect won't be involved much into this, because your project architect company owners will be dealing directly with the client, getting to know what they want from this project. Second phase is schematic design. In schematic design, you will be working on concepts. Actually, the concepts will be produced by the project architect, and you will be developing those concepts. And once this concept is kind of finalized, you will be drafting, you will be modeling these things, and then submission to the client happens. Then comes the design development phase. Once the concept is frozen, once the concept is done, then you develop that concept into proper working drawings, proper models, and then the another submission happens, which is called the design development submission, or DD phase. And once this submission is done, then you proceed and work towards the CD phase. CD is construction documentation. Construction documentation is basically the final leg from the architect side before construction. So all the drawings at this phase that you will be doing, and exactly you will be involved a lot into this phase, because you will be producing the construction drawing, you will be doing the details, you will be producing a lot of sheets for approval. So this is where your core will lie. And after this construction CD phase is done, then the commissioning phase starts. Or if you have a contractor, then contractor will take over the drawings and will start the commissioning phase. In this phase, most of the construction company do the construction procurement part, in which they use your developed schedules, they use your construction drawings to procurement processes, and then they do the contract administration, they do the site visits, they do all the pre-construction activity, and it is done usually from the contractor side, who will be constructing on the site. And at the end, what happens is, after handover and the commissioning phase is over, you do a survey of that entire site again to confirm that everything is built properly as per as your construction drawing or not. And based on that, some modification can be done even after commissioning phase. And at the end, the process ends with the post-occupancy survey, where this usually doesn't happen from our end, but post-occupancy survey is usually done in public buildings and in public sector a lot, where you are surveying the entire property of its usage, how the functioning of design is going on, and it is a very good thing to have. Next point that I wanted to talk about is the experience and exposure. So this took me a very long time to understand that where I can get the most amount of experience and exposure as an architect. I usually thought that bigger firms, bigger projects will give you more exposure, more work opportunity, but that is wrong. So what happens is, once you are in a bigger firm and working on a very huge project, your scope of work reduces to a very small area. It's not that you won't have enough work, you will have enough work, you won't be able to see the other sectors. For example, I was working on one of the biggest hospitals in Canada, and for a year, I was just able to focus on a certain sector on a certain floor of that hospital. I wasn't able to get the entire picture of how the entire design process is happening or what is happening in the entire project. So that is something that will restrict your exposure and experience. But if you are in a smaller firm and doing smaller projects, most of the time what happens is you can work on the SD part, CD part, you can even go on to the construction phase as well. You can take over a lot of different responsibility on a smaller project, eventually giving you more understanding of a project, more understanding of the criticalities of the project and the systems that are being used on that project. So always, if you are aiming for getting more exposure, more experience, and knowing the know-hows of a project, I would say go for a smaller firm and smaller projects. That will definitely give you more experience. Then comes the licensing and the examination part. So if you are an architect in North America, if you have done your architecture from Canada, US, Australia, UK, all of these countries have specific criterias to make you eligible for an examination that will give you your final architecture license. So first is, you will need to clock around 3,800 hours or 3,400 hours based on Canadian requirements. And after this hours, these hours are calculated into different fields like pre-design, post-design, construction documentation. All of these are different sectors. I have made a different video about it. So all of these things combine and give you certain hours. And once you complete these hours, you are eligible to give the exact exam. So basically, it's the examination for architects in Canada or architects of Canada. So once you give this exam and pass all the papers, then you are eligible to call yourself as an architect. You will get the license, you will get the stamps. And once you do this, you are eligible to work as an architect, approve drawings as an architect, and sign documents as an architect, which is a very important factor in this industry. Second last point is basically your two career choices. So once you get your architecture license, you have two choices: either to start your own practice, and second is to continue practicing as an architect with a company or a bigger firm. So the choice is totally on you. But what I personally feel is architecture is a field where eventually you should target to practice on your own, have your own firm, have your own project. This way, you will have more capital dispensed for you. You will have your own identity, own name, and you can work on your own terms. Second option is working for a firm, which is also pretty good. Here, you will have less headache of getting projects, sustaining a firm. All of these things will be taken care of by the business development team of that firm. You will be just working on the projects that the firm is giving you. You will be handling the entire project based on what firm demands or the client demands. You will be approving drawings, and also you will be charging higher because you are an practicing architect. You have a license to practice architecture, and you are using your stamp and your license to approve those drawings. So these are the two career choices that you will have eventually at the end. And to sum it up, what will be the money factor once you complete your architecture and once you go through all of these process? Okay, so first thing I would like to say is after completing your architecture degree, you won't be earning a lot. If you compare it with lawyers, for example, or an IT graduate, you will be earning far more lesser than them. The average income for an intern architect who has just graduated out of the college is around 50 to 60,000 US dollars, which in comparison to other sector is pretty low. And you will be earning on this amount or near to this amount for at least 2 to 3 years of your life. So this is something that I really want you to understand, that part. And once you gain your license, once you give those exams, once you gain all the experience, your salary will definitely increase. You can charge them as an architect. You can negotiate with different firms, or you can switch your jobs to get even higher salaries. So it's not that architecture doesn't pay, it's just that you need to develop your own licensing aspect. Then you need to develop your own specializations. You need to be master of certain things in architecture. So these things will give you more money. And of course, if you get your license, you can start your own practice, which is my own preferred way, where you have your own firm, you develop your own drawings, you develop your own clients, you handle it all by yourself. That's the best way to earn money in the field of architecture. So this is the overview of architecture as a career, architecture as a profession. If you guys have any kinds of doubts or queries, please go ahead, mention it in the comment section. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please go ahead, hit a like and subscribe, because this is one of the few channels on internet and on YouTube which is talking about architecture as a profession and how you can grow as an architect. So please support this channel, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.